صباح الخير، الساعة 9 رح نكمل اليوم على التكست اللي هو Z for Zakaria. زي ما حكينا Z for Zakaria is a short story, and any short story in English should have elements. We have the main character, we have also minor characters, and we have the setting which is about time and place, and also the plot. Okay. طيب, as we said, this story is unusual, or this story is different from other short stories because it starts with an unusual opening, and as we summarized the story زي ما لخصناها يا تاسع, we said that the main character is called Anne Burden, and she had experienced war with her family, and also she lost all of her family in this war, so she began to think that she was the only person left in this world. Anne Burden started to see a very thin column of smoke, and she felt very scared. Why? Because she thought that there was someone else still living in this world after the war. Okay. Now let's move on and continue with paragraph number 3. Okay, and the column has come 3 times, each time in the late afternoon. Then when does this column of smoke appear to Anne? In the late afternoon. Okay, at night I can't see it, and in the morning it is gone, but each afternoon it comes again and it's nearer. So when does Anne see this column of smoke? In the afternoon. Okay, and every afternoon it comes closer, it comes near her. Okay, at first it was behind Claypole Ridge هاي اسم مكان يا تاسع. Okay, Claypole Ridge, and I could only see the top of it. Okay, for the first time she saw this column of smoke. Where was it for the first time? It was behind Claypole Ridge, and she just could see the top of it, not all of the column. Okay, the smallest smudge means mark with an irregular shape, اللي هي زي علامة بس مش واضحة معالمها. اوكي، يعني مارك بس الشيب تبعها irregular ومش واضحة. كيف we say a smudge of blood. Okay, I thought it was a cloud. So for the first time Anne thought it was a cloud because she couldn't see the whole column, but she just could see the top of it, except that it was too gray, the wrong color. So the first thing that came to Anne's mind is that thing is a gray cloud. Okay, but she was not sure why, because it was too gray, the color was wrong. Okay, so clouds are not too gray, that's why she doubted that it was a cloud. Okay, the wrong color, and then I thought there are no clouds anywhere else. Okay, so she looked at the sky, she found no clouds anywhere else, so she also doubted that this was a cloud. Okay, and I got the binoculars, وحكينا الباينوكيولرز هو المنظار. Okay, and saw that it was narrow and straight. It was smoke. Narrow means very thin, يعني ضيق صغير. Okay, رفيع, and straight واضحة معناها مستقيم. Okay, it was a smoke from a small fire. She thought that this column of smoke was a smoke from a small fire. When we used to go in the track, Claypole Ridge was 15 miles, though it looks closer, and the smoke was coming from behind that. So how far is Claypole Ridge from the place where Anne lives right now? It is 15 miles away. Okay, now for the first time, where was the column of smoke, or where did Anne see the column of smoke coming from? She saw this column of smoke coming from behind Claypole Ridge, about 15 miles from the place where Anne lives. Okay, beyond Claypole Ridge there is Ogden Town. Now there is another place which is called Ogden Town behind close to this place. Okay, about 10 miles further, أبعد من Claypole Ridge ب10 مايل. تمام, but there is no one left in Ogden Town. Okay, now she thinks Claypole Ridge اللي هي زي جبل صغير. Okay, ridge يعني زي هضبة أو جبل. Okay, now behind this place, أو 10 miles further than this place, there is a place which is called Ogden Town. She thought that this smoke was coming from where? From Ogden Town. But again, she remembers that there is no one left alive in this place, in this Ogden Town. How does she know? We'll see. I know because after the war ended, now Anne began to memorize what happened after the war, okay? After the war had ended, okay? Now, after the war ended, and all of the telephones were dead, my father, my brother Joseph, and cousin David went in the truck to find out what was happening. And the first place they went was Ogden Town, okay? So her family, her father, brother, and her cousin went in their truck to find out what was happening after the war, and the first place they visited was what? Was Ogden Town. Now they went there early in the morning. Joseph, David were really excited, but father looked serious. Now how did her brother and cousin feel? They felt very excited, they felt happy, pleased, but her father looked serious, and serious means here stressed, okay, worried. Now we see why did her father feel like that. Because maybe he expected what he would see there in Ogden Town. When they came back, it was dark. Mother had been worrying. They took so long. So we were glad to see the truck lights finally coming over Burden Hill. 6 miles away. How far is Burden Hill from the farm where Anne lives right now? 6 miles away. They looked like beacons, and beacons are small lights, small warning lights or fire, اللي هي المنارات أو النار اللي بتستخدموها عشان يعني يضووا الطريق أو يبقى يعني كعلامة يعني للتحذير أو لوجود الشخص. كيف بيمسكوا منارة زي هيك، نفس الفكرة. أوكي، هاي البيكنز. They were the only lights anywhere except in the house. No other cars had come down all day. We knew that it was the truck. How did they know that? How did they know that this truck was her father's truck? Because one of the truck's lights, the left one, always blinked when it went over a bump. Okay, blinked معناها كان it went on and off. بضوي وبطفي كان. Okay, when it went over a bump يعني مطب تاسع. Okay. Now, they knew that this was her father's truck because of the left light which blinked when it went over a bump, okay? Now, it came up to the house and they got out. The boys were not excited anymore, okay? So how did they feel after they came back? How did they feel when they went to Ogden Town? They felt excited. And how did they feel when they came back? They felt scared. And my father looked sick. Maybe he was beginning to be sick, but mainly I think he was distressed. Okay, distressed means very worried and sad. Okay, my mother looked at him as she climbed down. What did you find? He said, bodies, just dead bodies. They are all dead. Oh, we went inside the house where the lamps were lit, and 2 boys following, not saying anything. My father sat down. Terrible, he said. And again, terrible, terrible. We drove around looking. We blew the horn. Blew the horn معناها we peeped the horn, okay? Of the car, يعني. They peeped the car. Then we went to the church and rang the bell. You can hear it 5 miles away. I went into a couple of houses. The Johnsons, the Peters, they were all in there. All dead. They were dead beds all over the street. My brother Joseph began to cry. He was 14. I think I had not heard him cry for 6 years. Okay, so what did they find in Ogden Town? Just dead bodies. All of the people there were dead. So how did Anne know that there was no one alive in that place? Because her father, her cousin, her brother went there and they found all of the people there living. They found them all dead, and they made sure by ringing the bell of the church and by blowing the horn also. Okay, so they beeped the horn. كانوا يزمروا رنوا الجرس تبع الكنيسة, and no one heard that ringing. Okay, so they were all dead. They made sure that all of the people there were dead. Okay, so that's how Anne knew that there was no one alive in that place. يعطيكم العافية.